what do we do when it's dark outside and rainy? We make some soup. So today, number 2 soup in our series. Mm. Soup number 2. Today, second soup of our series is going to be made with a lot of stuff you had received from Food Bank. Those beautiful squashes, they're called peppercorn or acorn because they look like either one. We're going to be using potatoes that are already peeled and washed. Today I have about 5. I have a couple branches of celery, a couple of onion, got some parsley if you want to add that at the end. I grabbed a couple of chicken broth containers. If you don't have containers, you can have cubes with the same amount of water as you need. So we're gonna start. So take this squash. I'm just gonna chop it again. Again, be careful. You have to have a little bit of bite here. There you go. Once you have a little dent there, I can just place my knife. And then my hands are up. Now I'm just laid. That's loud. Alright. So this is the loud method. Again, scooping the seeds. But I'll do something roughly like cutting in between the natural fold of the squash. May more or less be easy. That's the disadvantage of this method. So I have sectioned my squash. Now just an apple peeler, potato peeler. I'm just taking out the skin. So you can do that with any kind of squash. And if you want also to prepare squash for roasting, it's another way of doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and peel off that, and I'm going to cut them in roughly little cubes like that. So finished cutting. One thing you're going to notice is I didn't bother cutting very small pieces because I'm going to be pureeing this soup. So my onions are pretty chunky, my celery is also pretty chunky, and the potato and the squash. So I have an immersion blender, which we'll see later, but if for some reason you don't have any food processor or blender or an immersion blender to puree the whole soup once it's done, then I would cut everything smaller because it's gonna be the size of what you want on your spoon to eat. And also here, did I introduce my plant here? This is some parsley, Italian parsley from my garden. I'm going to be adding that towards the end of my soup while I'm ready to pureeing. So I don't need to cut those things. You hear the thunder? So I just need to take the leaf off, leave the stem off because it's parsley. The stem is pretty thick. And I'll just do like maybe half a cup, and I don't need to chop them up because my immersion blender is gonna chop it up for me. So they're washed, and I'll do maybe a bit more of that later. So right now, I have my pot on with some oil heating up, and we're gonna dump our veggies. I think my pot is not big enough. Okay, pot there, got big pot, some olive oil on the bottom heating up. I'm gonna bring it back to about half medium. So the puree means we're gonna blend everything. We have a squash. I'm looking for flavors here. It could be anything. Today, I'm deciding on a curry type of flavor. So I love using mustard seeds in my grease. I'll have a tablespoon of that, and I'll drop that in the oil as it's heating. That's gonna pop the seed, and when they start popping, then I'm gonna add I'm gonna add some curry powder, another tablespoon. This is a mild curry. Make sure you know what type of curry powder you have. Some are already hot. This is a mild. If I want some hotness, I'm gonna add some cayenne. A little bit, not too much. A lot of people don't like too hot. I like them to add, and salt, pepper, and a bit of thyme also. I'm in love with thyme recently. Thyme. So I'm just letting that heat up. So this is a lot of veggies. How much per volume? Oh boy, how many cups do you think this is? Probably 18 cups. About 4 liters of stuff, a little bit more. So I might not have enough of 2 things of course I'm making a big batch. I'm gonna feed the staff here for lunch because it's rainy, and I'm gonna keep the leftovers for the residents for our lunch this weekend. So they get to enjoy the soup. You hear the popping? I like to heat up cook my spices a little bit before. I find that smells good. Bring some of the flavor. I don't want to burn them. So I have to add quickly before I start adding my veggies. Ooh, did you see? Alright, now I'm gonna add all the veggies. I'm keeping my potatoes for a little bit later. I just want to cover all these veggies, let it cook a little bit in oil. It smells divine right now. Divine potatoes. If you have the leftover mashed potatoes, that is a good place to get a good use of it. Wow, it's raining like crazy. But I don't have leftover mashed potatoes lately. Not making lunches here, so that's why I have to whole potatoes. I'm gonna add. So this is just covering spices, covering the veggies. I'm gonna add the broth. I have the vegetable broth. I wanted enough liquid to cover all my stuff in there. I'm gonna add my potatoes. I'm gonna add this container full of water to it. Show you. So that's it, the veggies and the broth in there. Gotta put the lid on, bring it to on high. I'll let it come to a boil. High, shiny forehead. Okay. So it's been about half an hour, a little bit more, just cooking. So everything is very cooked, ready to be mushed. It's still hot. I could leave it to cool off a bit, but I never do. Parsley. So I have roughly, and here is my magic wand. You can buy a whole lot of different varieties of this tool. I'm just gonna puree, making sure I don't splash myself. I'm gonna add a bit more curry. Spiciness is just more intense. Salt seems okay. If you don't have an immersion blender and you're gonna use a food processor or a blender to do in small batches, make sure that your soup is not hot. Like if it's peeping like that, like if you see the steam coming off, put it in your blender, it's gonna blow the top off. The steam is gonna accumulate and the pressure is gonna go up. So do it in small batches and also let it cool a little bit and then process it. And so you want no lumps? I'll show you what it looks from close up.